Thank you, Barb. It's wonderful to be here at an event on the same stage with the voice of human rights from the University of Minnesota for the last 30 years. Barb's done wonderful work here over the years, and I'm delighted to be here. I also want to thank Paula Cuellar, who may have been the person who came up with the idea for this conference in the first place. In any case, I first heard from her about it. In addition to all the wonderful people recognized by the provost, I'd certainly like to appreciate the presence of Ambassador Ruben Zamora, who is here with us today, and Benjamin Cuellar, the former director of the Human Rights Institute at the Jesuit University, the UCA, the Universidad Centroamericana, Jose Simeon Cañas in El Salvador. And if I've missed other Salvadoran personalities, please accept my apologies. The light that comes from the back means I can't really see anybody, but I'm told that there are actually people sitting out here in the chairs. As most of you probably know, the Truth Commission was tasked, as Barb mentioned, to investigate those acts of violence that occurred during the Salvadoran Civil War that took place from 1980 until the end of 1991. The commission was able to receive testimonies directly from 7,000 victims, and indirectly via NGOs and others, a total of 22,000 victims, which constituted our database. That's not everyone who was a victim in El Salvador, because the estimates are that about 75,000 people were killed during the Civil War during those 11 years, many of them as a result of unlawful violence. In addition to being tasked to investigate the facts and to come up with the truth about those facts, the Commission was specifically tasked to make every effort to clarify instances in which the armed forces had received impunity and to make efforts to overcome that impunity. It was tasked to make recommendations designed to bring justice to those who had enjoyed impunity up to the point where the Commission worked. And also, it was hoped in the mandate given by the Commission that it would contribute to national reconciliation. In brief, as you will hear, the Commission, I think, was able to do a tremendous amount in only 8 months of work with regard to the truth. We were able to investigate in depth and prepare individualized, detailed reports on 30 of the cases which are either among the most prominent, such as the massacre at El Mozote of almost 1,000 peasants, or the assassination of Monsignor Romero, or the assassination of the Jesuit priests, or alternatively, if not cases that were that well known, cases that were at least representative of patterns of violence. So in 6 months of investigations, 30 cases in depth, and then a statistical analysis of the other 22,000 cases concerning the patterns of violence, which ended up revealing, according to the information we had, that 85% of the violations that we recorded were attributable to the armed forces or to their allies. 5% were attributable to the FMLN guerrillas, and 10% to the death squads. So there was a fair amount achieved in terms of truth finding and truth telling. The results with regard to justice, impunity, and national reconciliation are, in some cases, not very positive, and in other cases, mixed. But I think I'll save those assessments for later on, because I suspect we will hear comments on that from the three members of the Commission. Belisario Betancourt, who I saw in Colombia a few months ago, is in his 90s now. Tom Bergenthal, I believe, is 82 or 83, about there. And I haven't talked to Reynaldo for a while, but I look forward, as we all do, to hearing their interventions.
Great. Well, let's go ahead and start with the audio intervention. The first one is audio.